My name's Gabriel Pogrund. I just wanted to start with a brief reflection. A few weeks ago, I was asked to say a few words at my shul in the Shabbat just before High Holy Days, and the portion, I don't want to subject anybody to too much Torah on a Sunday morning, but the portion related to the moment that Moses was on the precipice of the Promised Land, and it's the chapter in which he reveals he won't be joining the Israelites, and there's this phrase which recurs in the portion, which is Chazak ve'amatz, go forward with strength and courage. And as it happens, our rabbinic scholars are reasonably divided on the meaning of strength and courage, but you won't be surprised to hear that they complicate those words and interrogate them and end up sort of contemplating less what it means to go forward with physical strength and more what the meaning of spiritual strength and spiritual courage is. I think for me, the essence of spiritual courage is having the clarity of mind, the resilience, and the purpose that enables one to tell the truth when it costs something. David mentioned a few moments ago that I happened to do question time after October the 7th. I mean, it's impossible to convey how very easy it is to be a journalist in this country. You know, it's our job to be disobliging and annoying to the government, but more often than not, they're pretty reasonable. When we have our journalism awards, the Secretary of State for Media and Culture will come and hand out the gongs and sit at a table with us. And this is a very benign environment in which to tell the truth. And what I said on that question time, which was, I think a fairly, schmaltzy and peacenik, homily to the idea of coexistence and respecting the rights of the Israelis and Palestinians, it had no personal cost to me to say. But we are with two people here in Avner and Hanan who it costs a lot for them to tell the truth. I think that's one thing that didn't necessarily come out in the videos because they're very self-effacing, they're very humble and modest people, but we were speaking before up there about the extent to which the state has arrayed itself against them both in very personal ways, and they have both paid a very high price for doing what they do, which is, in essence, telling the truth about the reality of occupation, of the Arab minority within Israel, about Israel, Palestine, full stop. And so I just wanted to begin by thanking them both, because it is such an honor to be with people who have taken the path less traveled and much less straightforward. And actually on that theme, I just wanted to start with a question for both of you, which is, we've heard a little bit about what you've done in your instance at breaking the silence, Avner, and we'll start with you. But reflecting on your own experience, what is it that propelled you down this path? Because you were a paratrooper, you grew up in a religious family, every fact and data point of your life until your work within the IDF and latterly your own first tour with Breaking the Silence. I mean, and from afar, you would not have foreseen the journey you've been on. So what was the spark within you that brought you to this place?
Yeah, so thank you for that introduction, and thank you all for spending your Sunday with us. I mean, from the video, which I think is definitely part of my story, there's sort of my family background and my great uncle and sort of that, part of my family, the story of, standing up to this horrific danger and evil and paying personal price. But there's also the fact that I'm named after a paratrooper. My dad was a paratrooper. My brothers and sisters all served. And breaking my silence, even personally inside our home, wasn't easy. Because what does it mean about my parents' education? What does it mean about the fact that we all served. What does this mean about my younger brother who was just about to join the army? So I think that it's never easy to break silences, and this is true in any society. But if I try to think about what did push me forward in the end of the day, and those of you that were with me or any of my colleagues in Hebron or the South Hebron Hills, maybe, hear this. What we do is we tell testimonies. We bring forward our personal stories. And I mean, that's what moved me. In the end of the day, I was a sergeant of a snipers team. Part of what we did almost on a nightly basis was barge into people's homes. Wake families up in the middle of the night, handcuff the head of the family, of course, making sure in advance that the people inside the home are innocent, because if they're involved in some sort of terrorist or resistance movement, you won't go in. So it's innocent homes that you're entering. You know this in advance. And basically, this scene of a dad or a teenager, usually the man handcuffed and blindfolded. I'm sure you've seen images of this. I was the one handcuffing them, right? And you have the child, the daughter, the wife, the mother, scared to death of you, of me, of my troops, right? And this scene was sort of etched and stayed with me in the day that followed, and in the weekends home, and in the year after I went to travel, in India and Nepal, like Israelis do. And I think that when I think about what pushed me, it's those moments where I understood that I was their nightmare, and I think that looking back at those moments, and there were many moments throughout my service, but specifically those moments, I think understanding that I have a responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen again. That my sons, 2 of them now, don't have to do the same things.
Well, thank you, Avner, for that very, very beautiful, very eloquent answer to my question. We also wish him a mazel tov, because he's a father to an 8-week-old boy.
Yeah, you can see. Still very emotional about it.
It's a very emotional time. Hanan, I think in the long history of Mayfair, because there are many kings, queens, princes, viceroys, ministers who have spent time in this neck of the woods, you are almost certainly the first feminist Bedouin lawyer from Israel in this building.
Yeah.
I suppose some people might have read your own life story and your own self-description and felt like those words, when put together, feel like a contradiction, but you have demonstrated that they don't need to be a contradiction. And I wanted to put a similar question to you, which is, you mentioned defying every expectation laid out before you, but can you just tell us why that was, and when you reflect on your own life story, what you think it is within you that drove you to this beautiful, very fashionable eatery in Mayfair?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the New Israel Foundation for having us here. We really appreciate your work. Atira, Ella, David, as usual, it's not strange to the New Israel Foundation, because from the first step in my work journey, this is the organization who hugged me and supported me, because we couldn't have support from inside our community and from the government, of course, governance. And I would like to thank the Human Rights Award committee for choosing me. It's like, to be honest, it was in the last 20 years, I almost forgot Hanan needs and to appreciate myself. All the time I was thinking about the Bedouin women, the marginalized women in Israel, from the Jewish and the Arab. I was working all the time to support them, to encourage them, to promote their voices and their rights, and I almost forgot Hanan. And when I got this award, I said, oh my God, it's such a good feeling. And I told my daughters that I am going to celebrate Hanan's achievement also.
Hell yeah, we all are.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting. Thank you so much. It's so, so exciting. I'm very happy. And when I saw the video, I don't know what is exciting me more, to see our partners through the screen or to see them here in the international level. So it's so exciting that there is a common mission and goals that we want to rebuild the democracy. We want equality for all the people in Israel, for the Jewish and for the Arab, and we build peace. Since I was a little girl, I was busy with my own dream. I want to go to the university. It was busy, right? And I thought that it's only Hanan struggle, because I thought in the beginning that my sisters, they gave up on their dream because they were lazy. They don't want to struggle to go to university. And I said, okay, I have a lot of energy. I can work hard. I want to go to the university. And when I arrived to the university, I found out the obstacles and the challenges as a minority, as a Bedouin community who belong to the Arab citizen who Israel in the Negev. I became aware about the basic things, that there is no transportation from my village, Lakia. This is one of the Bedouin villages. It's planned by Israeli government since after the military period governance. Israel planned and established 6 townships. And I said, okay, maybe I will have, as a woman, as a girl, access to the university, because I can't handle only with our culture and families obstacles. Maybe the state will help me as a woman, as a girl that have a dream. And I found out that I have another challenges. There is no basic service in the unrecognized villages. In the Negev, we have 300,000 people who live in south of Israel, and we are citizens of Israel. We live in the south of Israel, and we are part of the minority, Arab minority in Israel, but we are not on the Israel map, not on Israeli program. So part of us live in the township that planned, established by Israel, and part in the unrecognized villages. And when I established the first initiative, the adult education schools for women, for girls, because I was shocked when I found out that women above age 35, almost 85% are illiterate, do not know read and write. And Israel government ignore this situation. It's like something not happened in Israel. And when I came to Shmulik David from the New Israel Foundation, 20 years before, I told them we want schools in these villages. Teach me how to do it. So he teach me how to do policy change. And after that, I worked very hard in education level, economic level, and
the rest is history.
Yes.
Well, that's remarkable achievement. And I did want to say that, I think part of the reason why there are so many people gathered in this room, if I may, is that it is very easy at the moment for a lot of people who have a real deep relationship with Israel. It feels very difficult to shape it, and it feels like it is almost inexorably moving away from the principles that bind supporters of NIF. And I think the reason why NIF is such a remarkable organization is because of the fact that, notwithstanding the prevailing headwinds, it just continues doing work which demands to be supported and deserves to be supported. And I felt it myself after October the 7th. Regrettably, making large donations and being a journalist are sort of mutually exclusive. But to the extent I've given to anybody after October the 7th, I've given to NIF because of the fact that they are capable, as Nolene said at the beginning, of speaking multiple truths at once and doing things that support 2 people at once. And I think part of what I want to move on to next is just hearing a bit more about not so much the work that you have done, but what it is that your plans are over the coming years, because Avner, you're not quite happily retired, but you, after a long stretch as executive director of Breaking the Silence, are living in Oxford at the moment. You're right. You've entered the world of you're writing your PhD, but with the support you've had from the NIF and in terms of the journey you've gone on so far, what does the future hold for you, and how does this award sort of help you in getting from where you are to where you want to go?
I don't know. I don't know. I think we're in a moment that is really forcing us to rethink fundamental beliefs and truths. And I think this is true to the human rights community. I think this is true to the bridges that we've all been building between Jews living outside of Israel and Jews living in Israel, or generally people who are cared about the region. And part of the scary truth is that the horizon, the political horizon, even if Netanyahu is ousted, is on many core issues going to be pretty much the same. I mean, Netanyahu's biggest political opposition is Naftali Bennett, right? I mean, this is the guy promoting settlements, right? Head of the Yesha Council, or Victor Lieberman, right? Who is, he said that the leaders of the Arab political parties should be hung like in Nuremberg, right? This is a Victor Lieberman, in opposition to Netanyahu and Ben Gvir. But if you take it not only to the rhetoric, but what's happening on the ground, what's unfolding in the West Bank cannot be called anything but what it is ongoing ethnic cleansing in Palestinian communities, day in and day out. This is a term that I didn't think I would use a couple years ago. Today, I'm afraid I can't think of any other term that describes what's happening. Militias of Israelis attacking on a daily basis Palestinian communities, backed by soldiers who are attacking as well. They're not standing idly by, as the human rights sector would use that language in the past. Settlers attacking, soldiers standing idly by. That's not the case anymore. Soldiers are joining in. In many cases, these soldiers are the settlers themselves, because of the way the army is structured. Of course, we can go on to talk about the devastation in Gaza, the generations of people that are now living with this unbelievable hate towards my country. So we could go on and talk about, I think the bad moment we're in, but I think this does force us to rethink and reshape and challenge ourselves much more in our fundamental truths. I will try to answer a bit, because there was a question mark in the end. But
I'm not sure how coherent the question was.
Yeah. No.
And the pleasure of being with an Israeli is when you don't know, you say, I don't know. With a Brit, you'll get a lot of verbosity. You'll get a 10-minute answer, and then they'll say, I don't know.
But I do think that if there's one thing that this moment that we're in is forced us, right? And I think that it's sort of in, echoing Jimmy Carter, or echoing, I think, some of the ethos of some of the, maybe the main reason I think Rabin was assassinated, right? In his Memorial Day. In the end, it's peace or apartheid. And I think this is something fundamental that we have to understand. And if you understand that question, then I think the relationship, also what we're pushing for, how brave we are, what we're willing to put on the table and what we're not willing, I think that fundamentally changes. And for me, I think as an Israeli, this means I cannot go on with my life understanding that these are the things my country is doing without being part of the struggle.
Well, that's very, very helpful for me, but I wanted to turn next to Hanan. want you to draw upon your own personal experience as much as you can in addressing this. It's become a bit of a cliche that there's no going back to October the 6th, 2023, that Israel has changed, that the atmosphere in the country has changed, and possibly the soul of the country has changed. As you were saying, Avner, you know, we have to get real with the fact that it's changed, and that might present some opportunities, but it might also be awkward for those of us who do believe that the binary is as you set out. But Hanan, how do you feel the country has changed in terms of the atmosphere, the tone of conversation, the politics? And
Yes.
you live in
Beersheba.
Beersheba, big Israeli city. In terms of just the everyday of life, how has it evolved these last 2 or so years?
The last 2 years, it's unfortunately become very difficult, not only for the Israeli citizens, also for the people in Gaza and in the world, of all the Jewish in the world also. After October 7, when I came with the idea together with my friend Shir Nosatsky to establish the Jewish Arab Emergency Relief Center to support the survivor of after 7 attack. And many people told me that you will not manage to do it because the Jewish don't want to speak with the Arab and the Arab don't want to speak with the Jewish. And the Arabic language became as an enemy also. People feel afraid, and unfortunately they start to feel they didn't believe in peace anymore. Sometimes people from the left, they turn to the right. And I told them, okay, I will try even because for every dream I dare to dream during all my life, they told me again and again, it's impossible, you cannot do it, you will not allowed to do it. But again, I proved to them that I did it. So I will try, even I will not succeed, we will try at least. And we came with this crazy idea, and in the first day, people didn't want to speak with the Arab and the Jewish. In the first week, more than 400 volunteers, Arab and Jewish, work together under one roof, speak together, and work together from the left, from the right, from embassies, the president, who came, everybody came to this place. And we sent them as I told in the video, there is no way a war, it is not bring security for Israel. We saw it even during the Iran war, when they closed the sky and the air, we couldn't come back, return to our families when we were participate in a Paris conference for peace. And we did return to our family through Egypt and Jordan. And thanks to this peace agreement, we could return to our family. And not only that, during the war, all the years, Israel became the most strong economic and in the Middle East because of this peace with the government and with the Egypt and the Jordan. Tell them Israel also with them. We worked hard now to make the peace should be part of our reality, should be our way, our path, because this is only way to bring security for the Israel and for the Palestinian, and also for democracy. And this is the reason that even people became afraid from peace, human rights, democracy, equality. We will not give up. It's true that we are a minority. We are a minority, but through all the history, minority did the history sometimes. And from our personal experience, we did it. No one imagined that Bedouin women could be a lawyer. Women could go to the university. Women could appear in the newspaper with photo and with names, and something happens. So it's not, and we have opportunity, we have elections, and we should rebuild the democracy. The secret is in 2 things. Maybe, to be honest, 3 things. To rebuild the democracy, shared society, and shared political. We should have a Jewish-Arab political partnership, because this is the way. It could not work the left alone and the Arab political party alone. And the 3rd one, this is most We have it. Women should be in the leadership, in the political, in the social, and in diplomacy. When we saw the negotiation in Sharm el-Sheikh, it's a deal, a peace deal. It's not a peace agreement. It's a deal yet. And when we don't have women around this table, half of our reality, half of our needs, it's not there. And believe me, from Colombia experience and Ireland experience, women bring a different kind of security. Security is not only women. Security is not soldier. Security is house, social rights security also. Food on the table, and the dignity and equality and democracy. And I believe we will have. I don't give up. People that told me it will not happen, I told them it will happen. I will be also one of the decision makers in Israel.
I just want to, sorry to break through the fourth wall, but David, how much time, I can't see David, but how much time do I have? 2 minutes, okay. So we're going to be really quick, which will require some discipline on my part too. So I'm going to give myself about 30 seconds, and I'll give you two 30 seconds each. You're not here to give us hope. We are here to amplify the amazing work you do. You definitely don't owe anything to us. But I did want to ask if you could leave us with something that gives you optimism. You know, the kaleidoscope has been shaken. As you said, we are in a new world, a new reality. But can you tell me about someone that you've witnessed that gives you hope for the future of the country and of the region?
Hanan.
Hanan, you're going to say Avner.
Believe me, I said that 2 years before.
But I will say in the 20 seconds I have, I know Hanan through the Alliance, which is an amazing leadership program, and Hanan, led us through her communities, and it was really a memorable tour. But I think there's a falsehood about Israel or most societies, right? That we have like two political camps. It's always easy for us to think in a binary way. We have a right and a left. We don't have a right and a left. Definitely not on many of our issues. I think the biggest political camp, at least when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, is the control camp. People that eventually don't want necessarily to annex the territories, but also don't want to see an independent Palestinian state. And that's the biggest political camp that definitely was for most years. This has shifted. I think we're moving on to a camp that the majority of Israeli political sphere want annexation, one form or the other. And then the opposition to that are people who want the status quo. And that's what, but then thinking about where's the hope? The hope has to be in the smallest, but the most significant, and that's where I agree with Hanan, the equality camp. And in that equality camp, you do have Jews and you have Palestinians, and that equality camp is a minority voice today. But that equality camp also historically was very significant. If you think about the Rabin government that then moved on to Oslo, Rabin, we can talk about the criticism of Rabin in his history, but Rabin was a very brave leader in his ability, one, to build a partnership with the left, of course, but also build a coalition based on the votes of the Palestinian citizens of Israel, legitimizing him and delegitimizing himself, basically. But if you think about the way and the path moving forward, that's where it is. And the leadership of the Palestinian citizens, I think, and Hanan, I think, is an amazing example of that, but many folks are sort of in those worlds. That's the bridge you have to build, not necessarily because tomorrow we will be the majority, but because we can be that weight that can help push. And if you look at all the polls and all the television screens, the polls are Bibi and Bennett, right, or the right or the left, right, and the
right and the further
right. Yeah, the right, and the Arab parties or Palestinian parties are sort of in between there. We have to make sure that we build that bond that forces, the Palestinian citizens and and Israeli Jewish citizens to build that political bond that will then force our leaders to count us in together as a political. And there's a lot of work, there's a lot of optimism and a lot of leadership. And I think that it's also important not to put all our chips on, the latest the next leader that can oust Netanyahu out, because that's a very short-term thinking.
That's very. I think you'll be forgiven for exceeding the 30 seconds. Because that was a great answer. And Hanan, equality is important, but if you are happy to attempt to stick to 30 seconds, that would be fantastic.
Hope. Actually, I found out that all my life I was busy in creating hope in every level, in every station, everything. And there is people they give me hope from both sides, because I saw and I met very good people from the Israeli and from Palestinian, from the Jewish and from the Arab community. 2 years before, when I saw Avner taking us a tour in Hebron, I was so excited. I returned home. I said, yes, there is people that they speak loud about our voices. So what brings me hope, it's like during the last 2 years, we are the Arab minority, we couldn't speak up loud. We delimited our speech freedom speeches. And I saw all my friends, the NGOs, supported by New Israel Foundation, the Jewish people, they are speaking in Bashem Shilanu, in our name.
Our name.
And it was amazing that they are struggling on our rights during the war. So I said, if they're doing that, I will do it the same. I will go out international and speak aloud about the good Jewish and Israeli that we have in Israel. And I went to the US and I told them, with the Arab, with people that are pro-Palestine, they are against Israel, told them that we have a good people and we have a good partnership. So the hope is the partnership.
In that partnership, which we're very fortunate to have before us. So thank you.